Okay, let me get everything loaded up on my end. We're going to be watching. What are we doing next? Ponub
Cauti
versus Cauti?
versus Pwndnoob.
Yep.
So Pwndnoob is our 7 seed and Cauti is our 10 seed here. Let's take a look at some of their competitive history. Last year in the SpyParty Competitive League Season 5, they both had undefeated seasons. Pwndnoob was in Platinum, Cauti was in Iron. And as a result of that, Cauti ended up actually jumping up 4 divisions. So this year, Cauti was in Gold, took first place there. They got 7 out of 10 wins in that division, and then they won the Gold Championship as well. So we're going to be seeing them moving up to Platinum next season. Meanwhile, Ponub was just in Diamond in SCL 6, had a bit of a rougher season there.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is like I feel like the general trajectory, especially for the SCL for both of these players, has been very similar in the sense that they've been pretty much highly successful, like no matter which division or which group they've been on. Obviously, a little bumps this season depending on the game or matchup, but both of them are very experienced players, especially on the competitive side of things. I think the game count definitely favors Ponu, but both of them have a lot of Spy Party competitive experience.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the last completed tournament that we had, which was the previous Winter Cup, they both made it out of their group in first place. They both made it all the way to quarterfinals. Ponub is currently still in this year's Summer Cup. We're going to be seeing him play round of 16 soon.
Yeah, everything points to this being a fantastic match as the last one was. I do have the draft finished, so we're going to step into that.
All right, so let's start off looking at the bans. So Ponoob is going to be banning Ballroom, while Cauti is banning Gallery. These are two venues that their opponents pick a lot and are very comfortable with, so I think they're pretty targeted bans.
Yeah, and then when it comes to the restrict, it looks like we have redwoods being restricted and courtyard, interesting enough.
Yeah, Redwoods is something that Ponoob doesn't have a lot of experience with, hasn't really played it very much competitively, and it is the newest venue. Ponoob is going to be doubling Tayan, and we have Cauti doubling High Rise.
Oh, so we're gonna be getting 4 or 8 games of high rise, back-to-back sets of a double pick of high rise here.
And then from Ponoob, we have our single pick coming in. That's going to be Modern. And the single pick from Cauti is going to be Redwoods. So we're going to be seeing a few venues that we already just saw in the previous match. And there's going to be a lot of occlusion in this set.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always like looking at the restrict picks because it's like you almost have to get into the mentality of where you think you're going to be score wise once you get to that certain pick. And so for Modern, I always feel that it's like kind of like, a comfortable sniper that you get everything in check. But there's also some fun, cheesy stuff you can do, whether it's pulling a book at the start or sort of different purloin stuff on Modern to get a spy win as well. So like the picks from these players.
Yeah, I think there's really no way to predict how this set is going to go. Tayan and Redwoods are just very dynamic venues. You can win as both roles. And we just saw on High Rise how High Rise could completely swing the tide of a set. The sniper can just sometimes shoot the wrong person, but, they could also have complete control over the party as well. So there's just no way of knowing how any of these venues are really going to go besides Modern, which we say is sniper favored, but now that it's down to 4-8, there are a lot more spy wins there.
Right. I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like it's similar to Courtyard. Like Courtyard has this reputation of being sniper favored, but I think the more we play the game, the more we realize that a good spy can still very easily get some wins by.
Yeah, and in terms of player styles, Ponoob is definitely someone who switches things up and is used to making some more sort of eccentric plays, whereas Cauti usually keeps things pretty safe. So I think we're going to be seeing two very different styles here.
Absolutely.
Yep, and I'm all ready to get started. You guys have the game loaded up?
Yes.
I do.
Perfect, I'll
All
count it
right,
in.
let's get started then. We are on Tayan, which was Ponoob's doubled pick, and he is going to be spying first, playing as General. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right, and so at the very start of this game, we're probably going to be seeing a little bit different pacing than our previous set. Ponoob likes to do missions, likes to get things done, and I think both of these players are very experienced in that avenue of things. And so right here, we're in the front convo, kind of chilling, probably a green purloin at the very start here.
Well, the sniper could have been distracted by that ambassador who's over there at the back of the venue, but no one's really putting them in danger. Toby swings around, offers to Wheels. Wheels rejects as well. Pearls is going to be the one taking the list now. The tray not super visible though, and it comes right back to us. We are taking a drink. We have to hope that Cauti knows that the
Doesn't
list was
work.
already gone before we took that drink.
Yeah, and it was actually super sick because Toby whipping the tray actually kind of went through General's body, and you couldn't really even get a chance to see if it was there. And so I was about to say, even if there's another reject before that, I felt like Pwn was gonna take a drink there, but we get away clean, no highlight. I think we're set on that.
Yeah, we actually returned the list there. So now we really have to hope the opposite of what I said. We have to hope that Cauti didn't see that the list was gone.
Yeah.
But there was sort of a clear moment where you could see it. But the fact that we're not highlight
Banana
makes me
bread.
think that we've gotten away with that. Contact coming off now as well. We are the only conversation with a double agent. The SDA has just entered the one in front. But if Cauti knows that they weren't in earlier, then he can narrow it down to only one conversation, having a real BB.
Yeah, and I think either way, I think it does look like we did miss the purloin being off the tray and it being returned, and that's kind of gonna hurt. You know, when you see that the list is gone, as a sniper, you're more aware that maybe you have to shoot somebody for 3 or 4 missions depending on how things are looking. But with the purloin list back on that tray, I mean, I don't know if the sniper is going to be prepared for a Pwndnoob finish here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think that Caudi's on top of this, and I don't think Caudi's going to have anything to induce a shot. The only question is, what is Pwndnoob's fourth mission going to be? A minute 20 left. We should be able to finish the flirt pretty easily. Here we are, going for it with Smallman now at the green bookshelf. And then we're going to have to do one other mission. The easiest one is just center statue inspects, but
Mhm.
that could get you shot if you do it in the last minute. So perhaps the real easiest one would be a bug, right?
Right, and there's kind of like two different, like, I guess you could say, philosophies going into this. Whereas, like, center statues, AI could do that, right? Somebody could go to center statues late. But I think we're gonna get our answers. It is gonna be a bug into center statues. No, we're just gonna step onto the side statue, and that is a really well done game by Ponub.
Yeah, there was just no way to be sure of that bug. Tayan gives you a lot of cover. That front conversation was super full, so it just wasn't visible from the sniper side. And as we step into the statues, Ponub feels the laser go over to him for a moment, and he knows that's the sniper highlighting me for a side statue. That's the first time the sniper has noticed me all game.
Yeah, and I was about to say, this is just Tan's just one venue where you can't miss anything. You often end up like crediting maybe a couple people who had possible bug paths, and so the fact that we missed the purloin like that, I think we had a small chance to see the list there, or even see a quick drink take from Ponu, but we missed it, and Ponu gets the first spy win on Tan.
Yeah, it was really just that one moment when Toby swings over to offer to us a second time because after Pearls took the list, he was still pretty well covered. So I completely understand why Cauti didn't see that. And that gives Ponoob the first point. We'll be moving on to Cauti's spy game now. It's going to be playing as Ponytail. Let's get started in three, two, one, playing it.
All right, and we have here as Pony, as Gloves, whatever you want to call her. I prefer Alice, but we're going and we're gonna get a book here, and I wonder if we're thinking of doing possibly maybe a late direct transfer, or if we're just coming here to waste time. Transfer on Tan is just one of those things you don't expect to happen. Very similar to expecting somebody to take a purloin and return the list. It's just one of those things that can catch the sniper off guard.
There was a decent amount of cover for us at the Blue Bookcase because Salmon, our ST, was out in front of the venue, in front of the Shoji, and he sort of covered up the fact that we were there. So there is a chance that Ponoob didn't register us at the shelf, but microfilm is just always a very risky play, and against any sniper, there's always just a chance you die the instant you go to the green bookshelf.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of it is if we hold on to it really late, maybe they forget where it's from, or even if we do an innocent return right here, it's to maybe blow off some suspicion for, grabbing a briefcase there.
Yeah, and
Which
see,
was
I was
was there a
talking
print?
earlier. No, there was a difficult print on it, and that's what I was going to say. We were talking about the different styles of these two players. I said Ponoob is usually the type to go more for the risky plays. We saw that with the Purloin immediately at the start and then the return. Meanwhile, Cauti goes for a super safe play by doing a smudged briefcase, something that you theoretically won't get any suspicion for at all.
Right, and I kind of like it though. I really do like your first print being a difficult, because it kind of gives you the heads forward, like, say, hey, you hit a green here, like let's go for Prince this game, right? It kind of gives you a clear passage of, a way to finish the game with maybe less suspicion than other hard tells. So
Banana bread.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the print. Here's the contact coming off. Two conversations looking pretty full, so it's a very good contact for Cauti. Unfortunately, we picked up a highlight, and I think the reason why is that when we entered the conversation in this spot, the ambassador was right there at the back of the circle, sort of between where the twins are, and I think we may have been credited for a bug.
yeah, and we could have gotten credited for a bug. The highlight could just be, what, we step next to the amber and we actually do pick up a fingerprint off of the drink. So there's a couple different things that we can get a highlight here, but either way, from the spy's perspective or even from the sniper, things aren't looking good for us on the spy side of things, being one of the few highlights in the party.
Yeah, that's a good point about the drink.
Oh.
Oh my god, shot comes off on Rocker.
Okay, maybe not. And so Rocker was, I believe, at center statues there, right?
She was. We'd have to go back and scrub through the replay to see if she did anything else. But if there's been a contact and someone goes to center statues, if you think they ever had an opportunity to bug, that is enough reason for the shot. And if you look at about 2:30, you can see Rocker taking a path that sort of crosses with the ambassador. That could have been some sort of bug suspicion as a fourth mission for her. Maybe there's something else.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of the danger behind a venue like this. When there's a contact off, a seduce, you can assume a bug happened, and somebody's just going to center statues. It can be really hard to hold the trigger sometimes for the sniper.
I see. Rocker looks like she could have split from the BB, and she does a briefcase in the aftermath of it. That's what she picks up her highlight for. So maybe that was enough for Pwndnoob.
Yeah, it was probably just a little bit of confirmation bias there. Rocker's doing something you think the spy would do, and so hey, let's take this shot here.
Yeah, we were a suspect, I guess, because Ponub didn't know that the fingerprint on the briefcase had been smudged. So technically, we could have had two of them, but it wasn't enough to hold the shot on Rocker there. And so now the score is tied up 1-1. Ponub is going to be spying here as Teal. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
And I think that's a really good, spy win there, because I think Pwndnoob's one of those people that can kind of take momentum and go with it. And I also think, the better Pwndnoob starts to feel, the more memey he starts to get into plays. And that's a fantastic standing bug there.
That's a standing bug through another person. We had Ponytail between us and the ambassador, but we were close enough to get it. And I think on Tayan, with this much cover, with how crowded it is, I would be very surprised if Cauti saw that bug or had any level of certainty about it at all.
Yeah, I think pretty much the only thing we could have caught in that moment is we saw Teal wound back her arm a little bit, and you could see that slightly through the shoji. But again, with everything going on, it's just hard to assume that something like that's happening in that moment.
Right, you're not looking at the person 2 spots away from the ambassador. On Tayan, when it's so hard to see the bugs, your attention is solely reserved for the 2 people directly next to them, not someone even further away. Contact coming off now, that's going to be a low light on the twin at blue bookcase. Smallman looks like he's splitting from it, and then he does an awkward path with the briefcase there. Could be noticed.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a very similar game to we saw as Pwndnoob's last spy, where it's like we're going to have missions done pretty early. We're going to do some 4th mission, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if Kotte, holds a shot, even though the mission's on the board there. We'll have to see if, Kotte can learn from maybe the last game, knowing that Pwn's going to finish. Pwn is going to be active in their spy play, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, my only advice is try to find something other than center statues, because on Tayan, when the sniper is lost, you never know if they might just shoot you for it. The ambassador put a fingerprint on one of the center statues as well, so going to that one would be particularly dangerous. The only reason that could work is maybe it makes the sniper think, oh, they're going to need a second print before they win, but I don't know if Pwndnoob wants to risk that.
Yeah, and we need 1 flirt left. We're at 85%. I was wondering if we're going to kind of maybe just sit there and wait for it, but I don't think Ponub really likes doing that. We're going to go straight into center inspects here. We won't be finishing here, which is interesting. Kotte's going to have to wait at least for 10 seconds, but I think if we don't... Okay, we're just going to do a single cycle, which is kind of cool.
It's kind of cool. The problem is, I don't know. I wish Ponub had done what I said and just done the full 2 cycle and made Cauti think, well, that's one fingerprint. She's not going to finish until she gets a second. But instead of 1 cycle, what does that accomplish? Because you didn't get the print, but you look like you were going there for the print.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I wonder what the finish is going to be from here. And again, I don't think the 1 cycle is necessarily bad. Like personally, for me, I would think less of it. I'm like, oh, they're not finishing right here. That's interesting. But I definitely, would have an eye out to think, how is Teal going to finish from here?
Yeah, and so we have Ponub in chat saying that he didn't even know that there was a print on that statue. But for the reason I mentioned earlier, it could help him. It could look like if you don't know that Teal has a second print, there's no way for her to finish here. It could just look like the 1 cycle was unsuspicious, and so you don't want to take a shot on her because you don't think she's spy-like. This is the moment of truth, though. Cauti has 10 seconds to swing over. It looks like he's considering it, but we're putting the statue down, and Cauti is not lining up the shot on us. Looks like nothing's going to happen, and Ponub takes the win.
Yeah, and I think that's I feel like that's one of those things where you have to expect that. Like I would at least expect for Ponoob, right, to finish a game, right? And so it's like somebody that close, the only person that could be possibly finishing Inspecs in that moment. I feel like a shot has to come off, but I think this is more of a testament to how well Pwn can play on the spy side of things.
Yeah, and like we were saying, it's just these sort of unusual plays. I don't think there are a lot of spies who would have made the choice to go for a 1 cycle of center statues there. It's just not something that really comes to mind for most people.
Yeah, especially for if you're doing like the center statue, like you're gonna get highlight for being there anyways. Like you might as well maybe stick it. And so behaviorally, I really like that move from Ponoob there.
Yeah, and I think it absolutely helped him get the win. So that is going to be another spy win for Pwnoob here, but he could not get the sniper win last time. If he gets it this time, he will be up 3-1. Let's see if he can make it happen in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and I was about to say it really is one of those flippy venues. So it would be kind of surprising to see things come out 2-2, especially that mean 4 spy wins. But I guess if you're gonna get spy wins on any venue, Tayan might as well be it.
Cauti going to be chasing the seduction target here to the back conversation. Unfortunately, he entered all the way across from us, so we're not going to be able to get a great flirt, but we hit the green test, so it is up to 40% now.
Yeah, I was about to say that definitely kind of makes up for that. And again, normally there's not really issues with pacing on this venue for flirt, just because there's the 2 conversation circles. You don't got to travel too far, right? It's not like gallery with the front and back conversations. So I think we're going to be sitting pretty on flirt for the rest of this game here.
Now, we saw Cauti go for one plan last time, which was to start off with a difficult fingerprint. If we assume that Cauti's going to go for fingerprints again, which is something he is known for doing, there is already one over there on the green bookcase. We're not going to be able to get much done in this conversation, so I do think Cauti's going to go for a move soon. The ambassador steps much closer to us. Now we are in bugging range, but we are in the front conversation, so it would be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, you would need something to like kind of distract the sniper there, and it's just right in the front, so probably not the best move here. But that's one of the things we're talking about, how Taft is such a good amba if you are focused on doing prints, just because of how much Taft moves around, leaving prints at different spots. And so it's definitely a good choice if Prince is one of the routes that you like to go down for mission wins.
Yeah, and that print on the green bookcase has been there for ages. I think it's been at least a minute, maybe a minute and a half now. If Cauti was waiting for that, now would be the time. But the fact that Cauti isn't doing anything at all, even with the ambassador here entering next to us, we have the opportunity to go for the bug again. But I wonder if Cauti is just going for a frame game because we just haven't been doing anything.
Yeah, and I was about to say that'd be a good change of pace with things, right? To go for that. And we saw, right? We saw that Ponoob was willing to shoot someone early, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. We're at least going to be willing to finish missions here. We go to center inspects, and we'll see if we do a 1 cycle or a 2 cycle to finish things up.
Well, it's going to be a 2 cycle. We're getting all of the inspects. I could have been wrong about Cauti's plan. I think the print on green is still there. Maybe Cauti was just going for a very slow start so as not to look suspicious, and then is going to start getting a lot of progress. But we're right back here with the seduction target. We get the flirt up to 100% now. As long as we get a contact, we'll be in an okay place. We would have about 30 seconds to get a final mission, but we're not going for the contact. I still cannot tell what Cauty's plan is.
Yeah, and I'd say the nice thing about we've pretty much been in this front conversation the entire time. We've been in view. I think we could comfortably say that Pwndnoob at least hopefully doesn't think we have bug done right. So if we're able to do a contact, at least we're not getting shot immediately for that. But this we might get immediately shot for.
Yeah, it's a white purloin. Ponub took 10 seconds to consider it and decided, yes, that was a white fade, and no, I'm not confident enough that Kane has not bugged, so I do have to take the shot right now.
Yeah, it's almost like a little bit playing with food right there. Got the laser right over Kane there, takes the shot, and it started to look a little bleak. The options for winning on the spy side of things, and so we go for a purloin. It didn't seem like we had many plans there with sitting in that front conversation, but
No, and Tex was the person offered before us. He had taken a drink, so there wasn't even a reject chain there. So it looks like Cauti just didn't have much of a plan to finish and was just hoping to hit a green purloin there. Ponoob waited exactly 8 seconds after the list disappeared to take the shot. And I think that's enough time to remember that Kane did have two opportunities to bug. So good discipline and good shot.
yep, absolutely.
Now we have Pwndnoob here going to be playing as Queen on High Rise. This is our second doubled venue. This one was chosen by Cauti, so hopefully Cauty's going to be able to bring it back here. Starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yes, and so obviously we have Queen here, seduction target general, the meme, right, the lore. But this is definitely a different type of play style, or this venue, plays into a different type of play style than we see on Tayan. Specifically on the sniper side, it feels like you can have more control over the venue. You can see everything that's going on. You're not maybe wondering if this person did a bug, because a lot of times you can get a good angle to see what the spy could be doing.
Yeah, and so Ponub is going to have a few opportunities for victory here based on the mission setup. We're definitely going to be doing the Seduce to 100. We're going to be getting a contact. And then for the third mission, we can either get a bug, which is the one thing that we can do and hope that the sniper did not see it, or we can hope that we can just go finish inspects and the sniper will think that we are an AI. And the third option, of course, is we can do fingerprints. If you get a difficult print or one that has been left sitting there for a while, the sniper might not know it, but there's a wrong arm reverse drive-by bug as
Oh.
the ambassador passes behind us from that blue bookcase. No reaction at all from Cauti. Looks like we've gotten away with it.
And honestly, I'm surprised we go for that one, because we did not have the best conversation or the best cover in this conversation here, because we had small man in front of us. Now, sure, if it's general, sure, if we have sorry, okay, this is good, but it was just small man in front of us. So I'm surprised for that bug, but obviously it surprised
And in the
Cauti as well,
red.
because we get away with it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The contact is coming off now. We have an SDA in the back conversation, but also we have a ton of people here in conversation with us. That's a lot of people who could have a real BB here. All we're going to need is one more flirt, and we have General here next to us, so it's very likely that we're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, we got a minute 40 to flirt. We have all the time in the world here, and we have no extra suspicion. I think even if we chase down our seduction target, I don't think anything's going to come from it. We've been in the same spot the entire game. Things are looking good.
I agree. Ponub doesn't even want to bother chasing General. There's 90 seconds left. At some point, he's going to return to conversation. That would be the safest place to flirt with him. We are heading on over now. I think we just want to set ourselves up at this sort of landing pad here so that we can go wherever General goes and it won't look like a super obvious chase. He's in conversation there. We just want to get close enough. We only need 28%, so we don't need to be right next to him. But even if we were, if that bug isn't suspected, there's no reason to take this shot. Quick talk here from Pwndnoob, but I don't think Cauty's thinking anything of it at all, and Pwndnoob is going to be picking up his 4th point.
Yeah, and I'm about to say 3 games in a row here that Pwn is playing really well in this spot. I think pacing wise, super solid. Is willing to go for the hard tells or some things that normally freeze spies up from progressing in their missions. But Pwnoob's doing them and doing them well.
Yeah, and if we go back and look at the bug there, even though we only had Smallman for cover, Smallman did cover up a lot of our arm there. And the bug animation isn't super, super blatant, at least.
Yeah, I was about to make a joke that we almost kind of had a little bit of pillar cover there, or whatever you call that middle bar. But again, yeah, Kadi's gonna have to come on the Spy side, and things are 4-1 right now, so a win would be huge on Spy.
Yeah, I would say Cauti absolutely needs the win here to stay in this set. Let's see if he can pull it off here, playing as Bling Twin in three, two, one, playing it.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see if the first Spy game, we ended up able to getting somebody shot. And even though we were progressing mission-wise, we got to see that Ponub went for a Civ shot here. The second game, it seemed like maybe Kotte or Kadi was going for a Civ shot plan as well, but nothing came from it. So I'm interested to see what kind of style of play we go with here.
True, it did look like Cauti was going for some sort of frame on Tayan. It just didn't materialize. If we want a frame option here, we already have Red Dress. She started off with Center Inspects, and she has picked up a highlight for it. She's entering conversation. General is also picking up a highlight, though. Noob certainly does some interesting highlights on this venue, and I'm not sure that I could really tell you what they're for always.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of voodoo magic, but that makes things fun, right? That keeps things spicy
Whoa.
and exciting.
It's
Oh,
not voodoo magic. It seems that there was just a drink print available and that
okay.
General took it. So it actually just makes total sense.
I mean,
And Caudy
I
going
say
for the
that.
difficult.
I
Oh, go
say that,
ahead.
but we get a low light here too, and so there's definitely like a reasoning behind the madness, but doesn't seem to be on par this game right now.
Yeah, that's weird. Caudy was going for the same strategy there as on Tayan, going for the difficult print. Unfortunately, Caudy just hasn't been hitting his greens, so we come out of it with nothing, but we're a low light, so theoretically we can win this. The only issue is Caudy has no reason to think that he's a low light. You know, if you know you're a low light, you can just go do anything and just win. But if you don't know you're one, you have to keep playing as if you're a neutral light. In fact, if you felt that laser on you, you might even think that you're a highlight.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see here, how hard Pwndnoob's lowlights are going to be. Let's say Kadi goes and does middle inspects. Do we get brought back up, or are we pretty set? I feel like Pwndnoob's pretty dynamic with his lights, and so would definitely be willing to bring somebody back up for something.
I agree, and I've seen snipers do that before, bring a low light up to a highlight just for doing center statues. Here we are going for another difficult print. Well, I don't know if that's going to be enough to change Pwndnoob's light, but it could technically have been our second fingerprint if we hit two greens. Caudy does hit the green for the first time, though, which is very good for him. Here we are entering conversation with the double agent. We should be setting up for a contact. The SDA is not in the other conversation. They are going for a briefcase right now, so it wouldn't be ideal. Let's see where Kane goes. If he joins that top conversation, and he does, this banana bread gets a lot better. But the double agent leaves us, and
No.
we're not going to be able to do it
Oh.
after all.
Yeah, and we might have to wait here. And I'm kind of wondering what is the other print we're going to go for. We have Amba at books over here. We have that statue print on the far right side. And we need to do something because those animations are going to take some time if we want to finish this game.
Yeah, 30 seconds left. I don't think it's enough time to do any of that at all. We needed that contact when it was available. At this point, you can't really frame anyone. I don't think a shot's going to come off without a banana bread. And even if a banana bread does come off, I don't know if Noob is going to shoot anyone. Fake banana bread here. Red Dress is in
Banana
with us
bread.
with the SDA, so she's the one who could get shot as well as General. But it looks like there's no reaction from Ponub. He has a few seconds left to shoot. He could be exercising discipline before taking a shot, but he's not. We're getting another fingerprint, but it doesn't mean anything. There's only 2 seconds left. We get another banana bread, but it doesn't go off in time. Caudy times out.
Okay, that would have actually been really sick. And I feel like I wonder if we're getting shot here, right? But that was so cool to see. At least go for something. We're going to finish it some way. And honestly, I didn't even know that briefcase was in there, right? I didn't even notice that thing was over there. And so really good play there as a kind of last second effort, but no shot comes off. And so it's another win for Ponub.
Yeah, it's very surprising that Ponoob didn't shoot either Red Dress or General. She had the inspects, he had the prints. They were both in convo with the SDA there. But there are various cues that you can use to determine that they are civilians if you don't think they've flirted or if you just don't think the timing of the contact makes sense from them. You know, you might think a spy would have done it earlier instead of loitering in the conversation for a long time before it went off. I wonder what would have happened if Cotty had gotten that banana bread a second earlier and we had gone to overtime with a low lit spy. Man, that would have been fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was definitely getting on my seat hoping something would happen there, but no need to wonder. The only thing we can control is this sniper game right here to I think what is it, 1-5 now?
Yeah, I believe so. Might even be 1 to
1-5.
6. 1-5. All right. Cauty's going to need to pull out a win here at all costs. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
Yeah, and I think honestly, just with how Pone's playing, it's like I definitely would be on kind of more of the nervous side of things because Pone is playing well and obviously still doing the little mimi stuff that we love Pone for, but is executing it well and not getting much suspicion for it.
Yeah, and you think Cauty definitely has a lot to be scared of. I mean, we were focusing on Cauty's attempt to get the mission win there, but for all we know, Cauty knew that Red Dress and General were suspects for mission completion, and he just thought one of them would get shot. And like, what goes through your mind if you're Cauty and you know that you just gave 2 civilians a mission win, and the sniper somehow was able to hold your shot? That's a scary, scary opponent.
Yeah, I would definitely say on both sides of the things, Pone is taking care of business. But as of right now, one flirt done. But with how much time you have on high rise, I wouldn't say Pone's in any particular trouble at this point at all.
No, there's not much happening here. I think this is a good spot for a reverse drive-by bug like we saw in the previous game. I think we might have been waiting around for that. Unfortunately, the ambassador went the other way, so doesn't seem like it was meant to be. We have the double agent here with us, but we can't go for a contact now. However, we do maybe want to stay here so that when the conversations fill up, we're able to take a contact and have it look
Mhm.
pretty natural.
Yeah, I was about to say we would definitely love to get one off, but it doesn't seem like the party is cooperating. I feel like it's going to be one of those things where as soon as everybody gets into conversation, then the double agent's going to leave. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
Yeah, it was starting to look pretty good there, especially with the SDA joining the back conversation, but the double agent leaves. Now we've spent a decent amount of time not doing much. Now, that is okay with this mission setup because we don't have fingerprints on this time. We do have
Mhm.
Purloin. So, with Purloin and Bug, that's 2 options to get a mission done really quickly later on. But I'm starting to worry about, well, everything really, but especially our flirt. Wheels has just entered conversation again, but we left that conversation. If we had stayed there, he'd have been right next to us. But now we're going to have to rejoin him, and then we'll have to talk pretty quickly because if we don't hit a green flirt, it'll be bad. A green purloin, though, does come off here.
Yeah, and I'll have to see. I believe Wheels maybe did a reject before there, and we'll have to look from the sniper side. Are we able to see the fade? But no, it looks like the pillar again kind of blocks it. These fades have been kind of crazy today with what's blocking them, but we'll see if we can even pick up a highlight.
We are not picking up a highlight, but most importantly, we're not picking up a low light. Red Dress was already a highlight. She's the one who took the list. And then Cauty went around and low lit a bunch of people on the venue, but specifically left us as a neutral. Wheels was brought down to a low light, but then brought back up to neutral as well. So I don't think Cauty's super on top of this, but it's bad news for Pwndnoob that we didn't become one of the low lights.
Yeah, and I'd have to say, if maybe the double agent, and maybe if the party was a little bit nicer to us, if we had a contact off, maybe a shot would have came off on somebody already. But I don't think it's gonna. I don't think a shot will come off unless we contact the double agent.
No, because Red Dress, if you don't think she's completed missions, even with the
Oh
Purloin, with the
no.
flirt, there's no reason to take a shot.
Oh no.
Nothing happening. And no one's
Nothing.
in conversations.
Nobody.
No
Just
one at
us and
all. We're
double
going to have
agent.
to do a time ad.
We'll see if he waits until the very last second here to kind of trigger some of those that overtime, weird limbo time. And Cotty's responding with some more lowlights.
Well, Wheels was the other person at Windows. He didn't check his watch, though, so Cauty should be pretty sure it was us. Red Dress is keeping her highlights, and she does have the inspects and the purloin, but we know that she wasn't at Windows, I think. In conversation here, we finished the flirt, but that's not even a mission completion for us. When we do finish missions, there is going to be 10 seconds of beeping. Cauty doesn't even wait for it. He just takes the shot.
Yeah, and that's a those overtime situations are so stressful. We're just waiting for something to happen, and you're not sure if somebody's finishing, maybe. But I think we're on top of that. We take the right shot there, and that was a huge sniper win and a kind of stressful moment there.
Yeah, the truth of the situation is that if the clock is hanging like that at 0, you are going to hear overtime beeps. You're going to hear the clock go beep, 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 beep. when the spy is done missions, so you don't need to take a shot if you're still hearing silence. But sometimes it can be hard to remember all the mechanics of it in the moment, and I understand Cauti being stressed out and thinking, like, I'm pretty sure Kane is the one who checked his watch.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like a momentum thing as well. It's like, okay, I know it's you. I'm not going to let you get away with what you think you might be able to get away with. And so taking the shot there, I like it. I don't mind it.
All right. Well, Cauti has gotten a second point on the board now. We have one game of high rise left. If Cauti can bring this back to only a 3-5 deficit, he would still be in this set. But let's see if he can pull it off. We have him playing as Disney here in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Alrighty, and this will be again pretty much every match from this point on. It's going to be a want to be a Cauti win, and we have going. Ooh, we're going with an aggressive start here.
Oh, I thought we were heading on over to the center statues. That would have been incredibly aggressive. Side statue, not as bad, but it does mean you're picking up a highlight. It does mean the sniper is going to notice you a bit more. So by the time you go to finish those inspects, the sniper may have been noticing, you're flirting and other things along the way.
Yeah, and that's just something that's interesting to track of what is the sniper highlighting for. And I mean aggressive for the fact that, you know what, the rest of this game, we are going to have this highlight unless we get voodooed for some weird random low light like last set. But wearing this highlight, we're going to have to wear it with pride. We're going to have to be willing to do stuff with this highlight on us.
Yeah, and I think if you're Cauti and you want the win here, you have to sort of play against type. Like, especially if you see that Ponub is trying to do those behavioral voodoo lowlights, something that could work is like if you just never go back to statues, maybe you don't look spy-like, but nope, Caudi's going back to them here. There is some merit to it. You might think, oh, would the spy go and do 2 inspects so early? But it's really 2 minutes and 10. We were in conversation between them. We got a flirt. So I think it's just sort of a spy-like inspect visit. And I don't think Caudi's really going to be getting away with it.
Yeah, and maybe this works if we're rushing. Like, let's say we hit 2 green flirts. I think that's a really strong play. But we'll have to see. And maybe it's been an issue that we've had some maybe problems pacing in our previous spy games. And so we're just trying to do things a little bit differently to mix things up. So we'll have to see if it works out. You know, we saw people last game that Pwn was sniping that did inspects, that finished fingerprints and wasn't willing to shoot them. So we'll have to see if maybe that's what we're trying to play on this game.
Yeah, I do like the move from Cauti here of entering far away from the seduction target. We weren't next to anyone in this conversation, so that makes it look like we're not flirting. But unfortunately, that means if we do want to finish the flirt, we are going to need a green test. With a minute 10 left, I don't know about the possibility of getting 2 white flirts with our ST, especially because she's at books now. We're not chasing her. We need to see where she lands. Oh, she might be coming right back here to us. She does. She enters right next to us. We talk immediately, though, which could look flirt-like, especially if the sniper's watching you because you've completed inspects. But it does mean you didn't have to chase her. Now we need one more mission. It's not going to be fingerprints. We can't do the contact here with an SDA with us, so we might be able to go for a bug leaving the conversation here, but doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, and I was gonna say we're maybe just hoping to see where this double agent comes back in, and we should probably know if we're paying attention as the spy. We know that the SDA is in our conversation right now, so we know that we'd have to go to the other conversation for a contact. And I wonder if we're gonna chase this down, which again would look really spy-like, but are we gonna be willing to finish here?
No, we take the bug instead. Wow. And so Ponub is able to take the shot. Here's the thing, those conversations were completely 100% full. So I think the sniper is expecting that any spy would take the contact there. And I think if you took it, you at least have a chance of a civilian getting shot.
Right, yeah. And at least I think we're willing to do missions this game. And so we definitely did mix things up a little bit on the spy side of things. But either way, Ponoob willing to shoot and shoots with ease and goes up 6, or is that 7-2?
That is
6-2.
6-2
Six
currently.
to
And the
two.
bug is actually not that visible. So I do understand. Maybe Cauti was going for a strategy of like the sniper is going to expect a banana bread now with everyone in conversation. So if I leave, they're not going to be watching me as closely because they might be waiting to see, who talks for a white BB, something like that. But just the fact that we have the inspects done and we were already Pwndnoob's top suspect means that he was going to take that shot.
Yep, it's going to be hard to get away with anything wearing that highlight all game. And so now moving on to Modern, which I believe was Pwndnoob's pick, correct?
That is correct. And it's Ponub on match point here. He just needs to get one more win on his own pick. Shouldn't be too hard to do. Let's get started here as Ponytail in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and again, I think we're back to a venue here where you can just have a lot of fun. There's some different things you can go for, different things you can do. But on the sniper side of things, you can also kind of lock down. Once everything gets settled down, you can lock down the venue. You mission count. You can play things smoothly. So we'll have to see who plays this better, the spy or the sniper.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of danger spots for the ambassador on Modern. Basically, the only one is this back corner that we're in, but it only becomes a danger spot if it's crowded, which it absolutely is not right now. Ponub hasn't been doing much so far, so we decide we want to start with some mission progress. To get next to the ST here, oh, there is room between General and Queen. Oh no, we're getting in the way of General and Queen.
Yeah, I think maybe Ponub wins this, but I think morally at the end of the day, this is a failure, right? This is a loss by doing this. But hey, sometimes you gotta do things to win.
This briefcase is just sitting out here in the corner. Oh, it looks like Rocker is going to be the one going for it, but she is one of the suspected double agents, so no one's going to be getting that first print. The Hylit twin there, pathing right behind the ambassador on the way back from bar, could look like a bug path.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say is from the sniper side, whenever I see the double agent grab the briefcase, I do a little cheer inside because I'm like, okay, that's one less fingerprint I have to track. And so really nice for the sniper there that the double agent is taking that print from us.
Yeah, there's going to be a print over here at the bar now, but instead we're entering with the double agent.
Banana
We're
bread.
going for the banana bread, but the double agent
Wow.
leaves before it goes off. That is tragic because look at how full these conversations are. 3 super, super full conversations would have been like nearly an ideal BB for Modern, but we don't get it. And instead, we actually pick up a highlight. Maybe for being the first one to leave convo after the banana bread, maybe because the Amba had been to the bar recently, but I don't know if the print is still on this drink.
Yeah, and back to the contact. That would have been almost a perfect contact here. It just really like raises people's suspicion when they have contact, and you're probably assuming they have seduce done. And so we'll have to see how Pwn is able to play this because we're gonna have to contact again here, more than likely.
Yeah, we are, and that's really unfortunate. 2 minutes left now. We're getting another contact, and it's not a bad one. Again, there's 3
Banana bread.
relatively full conversations. The double agent bails on us again. Oh my god, that is incredibly unlucky for Pwndnoob. We take a bug in the aftermath, and we get shot. This game was a tragedy all
I
around.
think I think Ponub just wanted to get out of that game. Honestly, I think once the split happened again, you're like, okay, get me out of here. I'm gonna go for a bug. On to the next one. Yeah. But honestly, not to like raise, for those people that are superstitious, but earlier in the game we did split up Queen and General, and then after that the DA leaves us twice. Think about that.
That's a good point. That's a good
Think
point.
about
And
it.
we didn't even wait that long on the contact. It's not like we could say, oh, why did Ponoob wait 30 seconds before doing them each time? No, he entered and he went for them pretty soon. It was just rotten luck. But you know what? He's up 6-2. Now it's 6-3. So he might just be thinking, just bring me to the sniper game. I know I can win the sniper game. This doesn't matter. Cauti gonna be spying here as Queen, hoping not to take that bullet, or Caudi's tournament will be over. Starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and you kind of have to start to wonder for Cauti, what is going to be the game plan? We've gone for maybe some of the slower games where we try to maybe get somebody framed and pace things out slowly. We've tried to go for, getting some missions done early, and so we'll have to see what do we think's going to work here.
Yeah, and remember, if we get through this, we do make it to Redwoods. So if you're Cauti, you're
Hmm.
thinking this is the game that matters. If I get to
Yep.
Redwoods, I can win my spy game there, and you never know, maybe I'll get the sniper game. But here on Modern, this spy win is probably going to be the most challenging one. This is where Cauti has to give it all he's got.
Yeah, this is 100% make or break. And from the start here, it's been what, about a minute, and we don't have much progress, especially in some of the other tells. Sure, we have a flirt, but besides that, we're not making room for anything else.
No, but I think the slow start is okay on Modern. There is a lot of time here. There is a huge amount of people at the bar. We're entering here not right next to the seduction target. We have room for someone from that bar to enter next to us, in which case we could frame them for a delegate. Seduction target leaves, though, before we're able to get the flirt. That is a problem. But Sari, who was just at the bar, enters next to us. Now, she didn't take a drink there, but the sniper might not be aware. The sniper could have thought Sari did a delegate cheese. So we do have the option to frame her as soon as she starts her talk animation.
Yeah, and maybe we do go and do that, but I think the hard part of if we do a delegate frame right now, I think Pwndnoob's gonna be able to tie it down to 2 people. And again, just like our last spy game for Cauti, we'd have to be wearing that highlight the rest of the game while we try to finish 4 missions, which I think would be incredibly tough.
Yeah, look at these conversations. They're all pretty full. Double agent bails on us, though, again, right as we start the contact. That is 3 in a row. Pwndnoob's curse is contagious. It's spread to Cauti now. That would have been such a good BB. For the 3rd time, I'm saying that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna just have to remove Ponub from the tournament. We don't want this spreading to our other matches, so we're just gonna have to disqualify him.
Oh, this is tragic, but unfortunately for Cauti, he can't survive that. Pwndnoob didn't have to care if all those banana breads were a disaster. He can still win the set. He's the one on match point. Cauti is the one fighting for his life. And a situation you don't want to be in when you're fighting for
Yep.
your life is less than 2 minutes left on Modern with your flirt at 65%. That means another white test flirt won't do it. Another white test would bring us to 99%.
Yeah, and I think the hardest part about all of this, like being in this situation, is like you have 90 seconds on that clock, and what a big percent of that time ends up being is you thinking, what am I going to do next, right? And so we go with sort of delegate cheese here. We talk, delegate, and leave all at the same time here to kind of cancel out that talking animation. And this is kind of the moment of truth here from the sniper side. Will we notice it?
Ooh, banana bread going off right before the list gets taken. But look at that laser angle from Pwndnoob. He lowlights Rocker at the bar, but then he holds his laser to watch for it. I think that's a flicker on the twin, though. We don't know that Cauti is the one who sent off the delegate. We think it's the highlit twin.
Okay, now this is we don't know where that delegate came from, but the question is Cauti gonna finish? Are we gonna go for this right here, and then what are we gonna do for our 4th mission?
No shot coming off on the twin. If the twin goes somewhere, takes a bug path, maybe returns to statues or a fingerprint, but no, the highlight on Cauti. Ponub wasn't immediately certain of who took that list, but I think he knows that Queen was someone at the bar. Safety on Queen now for entering the conversation and flirting. The situation has turned dire for Cauti.
I was about to say we had that glimpse of hope, that little bit of hope when we had to flicker off on the twin here, but now it seems like the focus is all on us, and I don't know how we win this.
Well, the only thing available to us is a swap, and I don't even know if we're going to get to it in time because we have a drink, we have to sip it, we're going to pick up the statue, we're going to go for a swap. I don't think there's anything to even be excited for. If the swap goes off, we're going to get shot immediately. There it is. Pwndnoob takes the shot, the delegate doesn't work out, and Pwndnoob clinches the set 7-3.
Yeah, and GG's to both players there. It kind of just seemed that, like, Cauti just couldn't get the things going through, right? The plans that they had just weren't being executed, whether it's because of AI or whether it's because of pacing. But a part of that is just because Ponub was playing really well today.